The microphone grates in the packed auditorium. The teacher points a trembling finger at the black girl on the stage. "You're stupid!" The scream echoes off the walls. 300 students hold their breath. The 12-year-old girl clutches the poem paper, the words blurred by sweat. She doesn't know her mother has just parked in the schoolyard, or that everything is about to change. The auditorium lights shine like interrogation spotlights. Maya holds the microphone with both hands, the poem's paper trembling against the cold metal. Silence weighs heavy on the 300 heads turned toward her. Professor Camilla crosses her arms in the front row, her face pinched in an expression of impatience. The air conditioning hums, but doesn't alleviate the heat creeping up Maya's neck. "Stop." Professor Camilla's voice cuts through the air like a blade. Maya has barely begun the first verse when the 45-year-old woman stands up, her heels echoing on the hardwood floor. "This isn't working. You can't even pronounce the words properly." Murmurs begin in the back rows. Maya looks down at the sheet. Langston Hughes's words now seem jumbled. "Sit down. You're not even good enough to recite a simple text." Maya's chest tightens like a clenched fist. She remembers her grandmother's voice. "Daughter, when they try to put you down, remember who you are." But in this moment, with 300 pairs of eyes fixed on her, Maya can't remember anything but the shame burning in her cheeks. Her words stuck in her throat, as if someone had stolen her voice. She walked off the stage carrying more than just crumpled paper. She carried the weight of a childhood being publicly shattered. Maya descends the 3 steps from the stage as if stepping on broken glass. Each step echoes in the heavy silence of the auditorium. Her hands tremble as she folds the poem. "I, too, sing America." Langston Hughes's words now stained with cold sweat. The plastic chair creaks as she sits in the front row, away from the other students. The fabric of her uniform sticks to her back, damp with nervousness. She lowers her head, her frizzy hair falling like a protective curtain over her face. Whispers begin behind her like a buzzing of bees. "I told you she couldn't do it. Why do they always put her in these presentations? It must be because of the quotas." Maya presses her lips together, feeling each word like a needle. Professor Camilla remains standing, arms crossed, a satisfied smile on her lips. "Next student, please. Let's see if we can salvage this presentation." The tone carries the weight of a sentence. "You don't belong here. Never have." A hot tear runs down Maya's cheek, but she doesn't wipe it away. She won't give them the satisfaction. She remembers her mother fixing her hair that morning. "You're going to rock it, princess. They need to hear your voice." Now that voice feels like it's been ripped from her throat with a knife. She closes her eyes and hears her grandmother whispering in her memory, "Daughter, they will try to break you 1,000 times, but you are made of iron and honey, sweet on the outside, indestructible on the inside." Her chest fills with a familiar ache, the one her mother carried, the one her grandmother carried, the one every woman in the family knew by heart. "Sorry," Maya whispers to the crumpled paper, as if Langston Hughes's words could hear her. Behind her, a blonde girl whispers to her friend, "Poor thing, huh? It must be hard when you don't have a foundation at home." Maya clenches her fists. Teacher Camilla adjusts the microphone and says to the whole school, "Let's see a real performance now. Sarah, come here." The blonde girl walks onto the stage smiling, confident. No one questions whether she can do it. No one doubts her ability. Maya swallowed back tears along with the words she couldn't speak. But her mother, outside, had just heard every humiliation through the open window. The auditorium becomes a silent courtroom. Maya feels 300 pairs of eyes like pinpricks of warm light on her skin. In the third row, 2 white boys exchange muffled chuckles, pointing discreetly in her direction. The elite girls, impeccable uniforms, straightened hair shining under the lights, whisper among themselves, hands covering their mouths as if sharing poisonous secrets. The smell of expensive perfume mixed with school disinfectant creates a suffocating atmosphere. Maya stares at her hands, counting the lines on their palms as if they were a map to the distance. "Wow, how embarrassing." A female voice cuts through the air, coming from the middle rows. Maya recognizes the tone. It's Jessica, daughter of the owner of the city's largest construction company. Why do they always put her in these things? It's embarrassing for everyone. More laughter spreads like waves, infecting the room. An assistant professor, sitting in the corner, shakes his head in disapproval. Not at the cruelty, but at Maya's lack of preparation. In the upper bleachers, where the scholarship students sit, a different silence reigns, heavy with recognition and helplessness. They know they could be next. Maya closes her eyes and listens to the crowd's breathing, each whisper a sentence about her worth. They don't know you, baby. Her mother's voice echoes in her memory. They see your skin and think they know your story. But this time is different. This time it's not a sideways glance on the street or a cruel joke on the playground. It's a public judgment, etched in the memory of 300 people who will carry this image of her forever. Maya feels the weight of the generations of black women who came before, all who were silenced, diminished, broken in spaces like this. She clutches the paper tighter, feeling the fibers unravel between her fingers. She should have stayed home studying instead of trying to show off. A boy's voice echoes from the back row. Maya looks up for the first time and finds his face. The son of the town judge, who had already stopped her 3 times on the street asking if she really lived in this neighborhood. Teacher Camilla doesn't scold him. Instead, she nods. Exactly. There's a time for everything, and some students need to understand their limitations. In that courtroom of expensive uniforms, Maya discovered that her fault was not that she did not know the poem. It was that she dared to dream that she had the right to recite it. Maya shrinks into her chair like a flower wilting under the scorching sun. The auditorium seems to have grown tenfold. The walls recede, the ceiling rises, and she shrinks to a speck, lost in an ocean of indifferent faces. The air conditioning hums above her head, but the cold doesn't reach her. Her legs dangle in the void, her feet unable to reach the floor. She searches for a friendly glance in the crowd. A smile, a wave, anything to remind her she still exists. But she finds only morbid curiosity. As if she were a car accident everyone stops to stare at. In the 5th row, a classmate's mother whispers to another, "Poor thing. But did you see how nervous she was? Maybe it's not for everyone." The comment is disguised as pity, but Maya feels the sharp edge behind the false compassion. To her left, the empty seat where her best friend should be, who forgot to come to the presentation today. To her right, 3 chairs separate her from the nearest student, as if creating a quarantine zone. The isolation is no accident. It's surgical, planned, efficient. Maya closes her eyes and travels to her grandmother's kitchen, where the smell of sweet bread mingled with stories of resistance. "Grandma, why don't they like us?" she had asked at age 7. The woman stopped stirring the dough and looked her in the eye. "It's not that they don't like us, daughter. It's that our light scares them, and scared people do stupid things." Now, sitting in that desert of empty chairs, Maya understands. She carries the light of all the women who came before, domestic workers who raised the children of their employers, teachers who taught generations to read and write, mothers who sewed dreams with needle and thread. That light cannot be extinguished by public humiliation. An awkward silence descends as Sarah finishes her flawless presentation to rapturous applause. Maya overhears one teacher comment to another, "See the difference? This one was homeschooled." The other responds quietly, but not quietly enough. It's a matter of inbredness. Some families know how to prepare their children for these moments. Maya grits her teeth until it hurts. Her family did prepare her, to endure, to survive, to carry her dignity even when the whole world doubted her worth. Sometimes loneliness doesn't come from being alone. It comes from being surrounded by people who choose not to see you. Professor Camilla steps onto the stage again, her heels clicking against the floor like gavels. The microphone creaks as she adjusts it too tightly, the shrill sound making the entire auditorium shudder. Her hands tremble, not from nervousness, but from a cold rage seeping through her pores. Her navy blue blazer is impeccable, her hair tied in a bun so tight it stretches the skin on her forehead. She stands center stage like a general before soldiers, her chest puffed out, her shoulders rigid. The spotlight casts harsh shadows on her face, transforming every wrinkle into a mark of cruel authority. "Let's get one thing straight here," Camilla drawls, each word chosen to cut. "This is an institution of excellence. We have standards. We have tradition." She looks directly at Maya, who shrinks even further into her chair. Some students don't seem to understand that being here is a privilege, not a right. The sentence echoes through the auditorium like a declaration of war. The parents present, all white, all well-dressed, nod in approval. One mother whispers to another, "Finally, someone had the courage to speak up." Camilla smiles, feeling the audience's support fuel her cruelty. Maybe it's time we reevaluate who truly deserves to occupy these chairs. Maya feels her stomach churn, as if she's swallowed ground glass. The teacher's words aren't just about her. They're about all the Mayas who came before and all those who will come after. She remembers the day she won the scholarship, how her mother cried with joy and said, "Now you'll have the same opportunities they did." But Maya is discovering that opportunity and acceptance are different things, that walking through the door doesn't mean being welcomed, that her presence there isn't seen as an achievement, but as an invasion. She feels the strength of the women in her family pulsing through her veins, the great-grandmother who worked in the big house, the grandmother who was the first in the family to read, the mother who cleans offices at dawn to pay for her books. "Professor," a timid voice rises from the audience. It's Marcus, another scholarship student. She was doing well until Camilla cuts him off with a murderous glare. "Do you want to join her, Marcus?" "Because I can arrange that in no time." The silence that follows is so thick it feels solid. Marcus lowers his head, defeated. Maya looks at him and whispers simply, "No need." She won't let another pay for the crime of defending her. Camilla turned education into public execution, but she didn't know that some seeds grow stronger when trampled. The creak of the auditorium's double doors cuts through the air like distant thunder. All heads turn in perfect synchrony, like sunflowers following the sun. The woman entering wears a simple blue dress, a black purse slung across her chest, her visitor's badge dangling from its red lanyard. Her footsteps echo differently than the teacher's heels. Steady but quiet. Carla, Maya's mother, pauses in the doorway and scans the room with eyes that have seen much of the world. Her natural hair is pulled back in a low bun, a few gray strands shining under the auditorium lights. She doesn't need to shout to take up space. Her presence does it all by itself. The silence changes texture as Carla walks down the central aisle. It's different from the silence that punished Maya. This one carries something that makes adults uncomfortable. An upper-class mother whispers to her husband, "Who is that woman? How did she get in here?" The school security guard steps forward but hesitates. Carla isn't doing anything wrong, but her presence disrupts the planned harmony of the event. Professor Camilla frowns, losing the thread of her speech for a few seconds. "As I was saying," she tries to resume, but her voice sounds less convincing now. The spotlight that once illuminated only the stage seems to have expanded to include the black woman walking with purpose. Maya lifts her head for the first time in 20 minutes. She recognizes that walk, the same one that carried her as a baby, that took her by the hand on the first day of school, that faced down principals when they tried to place her in classes more suited to her level. She feels her chest fill with something she had forgotten. Hope. Her mother is not just Carla in this moment. She is the entire lineage of warrior women who refused to accept less than they deserved. Maya remembers the story her mother used to tell about her great-grandmother, who learned to read in secret at 40 and taught all the neighborhood children. "Our people have always known that education is power," Carla always said. "That's why they try to keep us from it." "Excuse me," Carla says, her voice cutting through the teacher's speech like a clean razor. "I'm Maya's mother." Her words are simple, but they carry the weight of a declaration of war. Professor Camilla stops mid-sentence, the microphone still on, picking up her rapid breathing. "Ma'am, this is a private school event." Carla smiles, not a friendly smile, but the kind her ancestors wore before tearing down fences. "I know exactly where I am." Sometimes change doesn't announce its arrival. It simply walks through the door and alters the entire temperature of the room. Carla walks down the central aisle like water cutting through stone, slowly but relentlessly. Each step resonates in the absolute silence. 300 breaths held in anticipation of the inevitable collision. Professor Camilla grips the microphone until her knuckles turn white, sweat beginning to form small beads on her forehead despite the air conditioning. The wooden stage creaks as Carla climbs the 3 steps, her eyes never leaving the face of the woman who humiliated her daughter. The spotlight now illuminates 2 figures, one trembling with barely contained rage, the other as steady as a mountain. The auditorium becomes a gladiatorial arena, but only one of the fighters truly knows who she is. "My name is Carla Johnson," she says without taking the microphone, but her voice carries through every corner of the auditorium. "And I want everyone here to know exactly what you just witnessed. There's no shouting, no theatrics, just a black mother who has decided that the cycle of silent humiliation ends today, on this stage, in front of all these witnesses." She turns to the audience like a lawyer before a jury. "You just saw an education professional call a 12-year-old child stupid, in public, because she's black." The words fall like precise bombshells. Professor Camilla tries to regain control. "Ma'am, You don't have the authority to... Carla interrupts her with a smile that freezes the blood. Authority? I have something better than authority. I'm right. The cell phone emerges from Carla's bag like a weapon. And I have a recording of everything that happened here. Camilla's face drains of color. The elite parents shift uncomfortably in their seats, some already calculating the scale of the social media scandal. The principal appears, rushing from the side of the stage, her face red with institutional panic. The auditorium becomes a graveyard of held breath. Fathers who seconds before approved of the cruelty now avoid looking at the stage. Some are already reaching for their cell phones, others whispering damage control strategies to their husbands. The school elite, accustomed to controlling narratives, discovers they've lost control of them all. An executive father discreetly gets up and leaves through a side door. He knows an image crisis when he sees one. Carla feels the power of generations coursing through her veins. It's not just her on stage, it's all the mothers who had to swallow humiliation to protect their children. All those who cleaned houses of people who later despised their children. All those who worked twice as hard to provide opportunities that were met with threats. She looks at Maya and sees her own childhood, her grandmother's, and all those who came before. Today, it stops here, she thinks. In my daughter, it stops. Principal Wilson. Carla turns to the woman running toward the stage. Do you want to resolve this here, in front of everyone? Or would you prefer me to resolve it outside, in front of everyone? The principal stops mid-step, quickly weighing her options. Camilla tries one last tactic. This woman is disturbing our... This woman, Carla corrects her, is a mother protecting her daughter. Something an educator should understand. On that stage, Carla wasn't just defending Maya. She was rewriting the history of all the black children who have been silenced in auditoriums like that. Maya gets up from her chair and walks to the stage, climbing to stand next to her mother. 2 generations of black women occupying the space they tried to deny them. Some battles aren't won with diplomas on the wall. They're won with mothers who refuse to let their children carry the weight of the world alone. Director Wilson emerges from the side of the stage like a contained hurricane, her impeccable gray suit contrasting with the panic etched on her face. Her hands tremble as she reaches for the microphone from Camilla, who resists for a few seconds before letting go. The sharp feedback from the equipment makes the entire auditorium shudder. The stage spotlights create dramatic shadows. Carla and Maya side by side, erect as pillars. Camilla retreating to the edges like an actress being expelled from a scene. The cell phone in Carla's hand continues recording, the red light flashing like a beacon of accountability. The smell of collective nervousness, sweat, expensive perfume, and fear pervades the room. Carla doesn't need to shout to command the attention of 300 people. Her voice cuts through the air with the precision of someone who's fought bigger battles than this. I work late nights cleaning offices to pay for my daughter's books, she tells the audience, each word a surefire bullet. I wake up at 4 in the morning, come back at 7 at night, all so she can have the education I didn't. She pauses, lets the weight of the words sink in. And you think I'm going to accept a public servant humiliating my investment? Maya feels pride rise in her chest like hot lava. Her mother isn't just defending her. She's defending every sacrifice, every dream, every late night worked. Professor Camilla tries one last desperate tactic. You don't understand how quality education works. Carla interrupts her with a smile that could cut a diamond. I know exactly how it works. I've been working for 15 years cleaning bathrooms for people who think they're better than me. The audience squirms uncomfortably. Many recognize the profile. The difference is, I've never seen a cleaning lady call a child stupid. That must be a specialty of someone with a degree. The silence that follows is deafening. Camilla is speechless for the first time in her career. The auditorium becomes a fishbowl of fish suffocating out of water. Executive parents discreetly check their phones, already calculating damage control strategies. One mother whispers to another, "This is going to be all over social media." Some families begin to exit through the side doors, carrying children as if fleeing a fire. Principal Wilson sweats, knowing the school's decades-long reputation could crumble in a matter of hours. The teachers present avoid looking at Camilla, as if failure were contagious. Carla feels the power of her ancestors coursing through her veins. It's not just her. It's all the maids who raised the children of racist employers, all the nannies who were treated like family until their own children needed education, all the women who cleaned up after others so their daughters could dream clean. Maya looks at her mother and sees a warrior who has always been there, disguised as an invisible employee. They underestimated who you are, Maya thinks. Oh, but we never forget. Professor Camilla, Principal Wilson finally speaks, her voice cracking like broken glass. I need you to come with me. Now, Camilla looks around for support, but finds only downcast faces. This is absurd. I've had a 20-year career. Carla steps closer. And my daughter has her whole life ahead of her. Who do you think is worth more? In that moment, Carla wasn't just confronting a racist teacher. She was rewriting the script of submission they'd tried to force on every black mother before her. Maya takes her mother's hand, intertwining fingers that carry the strength of 5 generations of women who refused to settle for less than they deserved. Sometimes justice isn't what comes later. It's what explodes at the exact moment it's needed. 3 weeks later, the same school auditorium hosts a different ceremony. Maya is on stage again, but this time the paper in her hands doesn't tremble. The same microphone, the same lights, but the energy is completely different. Carla watches from the front row, no longer as an intruder, but as a guest of honor. The new interim teacher smiles encouragingly from the corner of the stage. The auditorium is less crowded. Some families changed their children's schools after the incident, but those who remain maintain a respectful, no longer judgmental, silence. Maya wears the same blue dress from the previous performance, but now it seems to shine under the lights like warrior armor. Maya takes a deep breath and begins. I, too, sing America. Her voice echoes clear and strong through the auditorium. Each word of Langston Hughes takes on new life in her mouth. No longer the words of a broken girl, but of a young woman who has discovered her strength. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. She looks directly at where the children of the elite who humiliated her used to sit. A few empty seats return her gaze. But I laugh, and eat well, and grow strong. Maya smiles, not a smile of submission, but of someone who understands that her presence there was never a favor. It was a right earned. From the back of the auditorium, the new pedagogical supervisor writes down every word in her notebook, not to criticize, but to learn. The lawsuit against former teacher Camilla is ongoing, and every school event is now closely monitored. Some parents still whisper disgruntledly, the school has changed a lot since that episode. It's not the same quality as before, but Maya listens and is unfazed. She knows that quality was never about exclusion. It was about inclusion with excellence. The applause that follows is different from what Sarah received months ago. It's cautious, politically correct, but it carries something new, genuine respect. Some black children in the audience, scholarship students who had previously hidden, now sit up straighter. A 10-year-old boy whispers to his sister, I want to recite a poem too. The school's social engineering is being rewritten before everyone's eyes, and some finally realize that true excellence has never excluded anyone. Maya finishes the poem and for a few seconds simply breathes in the silence. She feels the presence of all the women who came before, the great-grandmother who learned to read in secret, the grandmother who was the first in her family to vote, the mother who cleans offices so she can dream clean. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when the company comes. The poem's final words echo like prophecy fulfilled. Maya is no longer asking for a seat at the table. She is building her own table and inviting others to sit. Thank you, Maya says simply into the microphone, looking directly at Carla, for teaching me that our voice isn't courtesy, it's heritage. Carla blinks harder, choking back tears of pride. From the audience, an 8-year-old black girl spontaneously shouts, You're amazing! Her mother tries to shush her, but Carla shakes her head, smiling. Let her speak. It's time for all of us to speak. Maya discovered that resistance wasn't about being perfect. It was about being herself, with all the strength and beauty that represents, until the world learned to love her light. On the way out, Maya hands a copy of Langston Hughes' poem to every black child present, whispering, Your turn has come. What about you? Have you ever experienced a similar situation at school or work? Leave your story in the comments. Let's create a support network below. If this video moved you, leave a like so more people can see this message. Turn on the notification bell because every day we bring you real stories of resistance and black protagonism. Share with that person who needs to know they are not alone in the fight. And tell me, what was the phrase that struck you most in this story?